Hello everyone, you're listening to another episode of the This Is The Music Meets Podcast, the podcast show that champions rising and emerging talent from across the UK and Ireland. And if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any future episodes. I would love to hear your feedback on the show, so please drop us a comment in the comments box below and let us know your thoughts on this episode. This week's episode is a very special one as we are live from Bridlington Spa at the This Feeling by the Sea Festival, a 2-day music extravaganza focusing on rising and emerging artists from across the UK and Ireland. Across the 2 days, there's been a total of 22 bands playing, 8 on the main stage on each day, plus 6 across the 2 days in the sessions stage playing acoustic tracks. It really is a great showcase of music in the UK, and I hope that you enjoy this episode as we've got plenty of interviews and features coming up. So sit back, relax and enjoy. And as I say, hit that subscribe button and please do leave a comment and let us know your thoughts on the latest This Is The Music Meets Podcast episode. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Radio X DJ and all-round legend John Kennedy. John, thanks very much for joining me here on the This Is The Music Meets Podcast. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. Thank you for asking to talk to me. It's nice.
An absolute pleasure and a real honour to have you here on the podcast. Just sort of before we come on to sort of like DJing and sort of like new music and bands like that, can you remember kind of like the first ever record that you bought that sort of like got you into music?
Well, I can remember the first record I bought was my auntie Irene gave me a voucher for Woolworths and I spent it on a soundtrack album to Walt Disney's Robin Hood, which wasn't a happening band at the time, but that was my actual first record I bought. And then it was a few years later that I started to buy records, partly under the influence of my sister. She would suggest, hey, why don't we go halves on this album? Why don't we go halves on this single? And I was up for that. And luckily I've ended up with the records, and she hasn't. But I mean, a real variety of things. So we might go halves on a Stranglers album, and then she persuaded me to go halves on the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, or something like that.
Yeah, sure. Okay, and what about then your first ever live gig that you went to as a fan?
As a fan, it was a local show, so I'm from southwest London near Wimbledon, and there was a band at the time called the Merton Parkers, who were a mod band in the kind of mod revival era, and they were doing their biggest show at the Wimbledon Theatre, which was the local theatre, and so that was my first show. And then to carry on a theme, the next gig after that was the Jam. So that was what I was into at the time. And then a few months later, under the influence of a cousin, my next 2 gigs were Black Sabbath and Motorhead. So I was already kind of jumping around certain styles of music, and then it just exploded once I got the bug, really, especially once I started going to small shows. I absolutely loved that.
Yeah, sure. And wow, some absolute legendary names there, obviously, that you've just mentioned. So then, was that then the moment when you were first going to gigs that sort of like said to you, do you know what, I want to work in music in some capacity?
Not quite then. I mean, it became a passion and an obsession and seemed to be the main thing I focused my attention on was buying records, listening to the radio, buying records, reading The NME, and then going to gigs, as many as I could. And that kind of grew and grew over a period of time. But then I went a conventional educational route, and then started DJing while I was there. But I started a club night. So at the time, there weren't really many student radio stations, and that wasn't on my horizon. But a friend of mine, and we started a club night together. This was in Norwich. I went to UEA, University of East Anglia. Or University of Easy Access, as I did, because they let me in. We started a club night there, which was once a month, and then that kind of led to more DJing. And then by the end of doing my degree, I kind of thought I'd like to be involved in music, properly, because it was, it was almost like I was doing a degree on the side in buying records and going to see gigs instead.
That's a feeling that I know very, very well. But just sort of like fast forward, obviously, to where you are now. You obviously must get sent hundreds, probably even thousands of new songs every week through your exposure show. So when you're listening to those songs, what sort of like are you looking for from a new band, a new artist coming through to sort of say, yeah, do you know what, I like that. That's going to be played on my show.
Yeah, it's tricky because it varies a lot. I mean, I think sometimes I fall into a trap of being excited by something that's got a fairly good beat and is quite upbeat, and I often feel like I should apologise to artists who make really quiet music, because you have to be in a certain kind of space to want to listen to that. And it's easier to get a quick hit and hear 30 seconds and say, yeah, that sounds good. I'm going to play that. But anything that just sounds different and unusual or catchy, or that if there has to be just in a way just one element. So it could be somebody's voice, it could be the song, and you think, wow, those are really unusual words or a really interesting melody, or it could be the energy that the whole group have, a whole combination of things. Something that makes you stop in your tracks is pretty useful, and it's a pretty random kind of process, and it's quite subjective in many ways. But subjectivity is all you've got in a way. But then I've listened to so much music, and I'm into so many different styles of music that I'd like to think I can assess something from my own perspective, and also think of a wider perspective for it as well, because it's like, oh, well, that reminds me of this, or that's like that. And definitely an individuality is really helpful.
Yeah, sure, okay. And then for sort of then looking at it from the other side, maybe people that want to get into radio, what would be sort of like the one piece of advice that you would give to someone, in terms of being able to present a show and to sort of do that aspect? What would you advise?
For me, I followed my passion and was lucky enough to turn that into a job, a career, if you want. And that's all I've ever done, really. And I think that's a really good benchmark for any walk of life. If you have a passion, if you've got something you're really enthusiastic about, then you've got to go for it, because there's no reason not to. And often if you go down other paths where you're not engaged, not interested, then that won't work out anyway. So even if you're going down a path and you think, but it doesn't pay anything and I can't get a job, but I love it, then pursue it. Because I heard this phrase the other day, which I thought was quite interesting, where they said, now I'm going to have to try and remember it, but the gist of it was that if you follow something you love, it will probably become a living further down the line. If you opt for a living first, then it won't necessarily be something you end up loving. And I thought that was a kind of interesting kind of rule of thumb for approaching life, career, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Okay. And obviously you mentioned there when you was at university in Norwich, obviously you put on club nights and stuff like that, and obviously fast forward to, I think maybe the last couple of years now, I think you've been putting on the Test Transmission gigs, which obviously been some fantastic lineups. I've been to a couple myself. Obviously you've got one coming up in September. Can you just tell the This Is the Music listeners a little bit about it?
Right, you're putting me on the spot there. I'm trying to remember who's on the lineup. I know that Test Transmission is done in conjunction with This Feeling.
Yes, of course.
And This Feeling are involved in a lot of festivals, and we run this thing, although I'm not part of This Feeling, I'm kind of very much involved. We run an apply to play scheme for a lot of the festivals that they're involved in, and so I get to be one of the judges for some of those festivals and choose a winner who gets to play at truck and at tram lines. And what Test Transmission does is bring together the various different winners from various different festivals and puts them on one night, which is exciting. So it's almost like you've got a lineup of winners in one place, and I'm just trying to remember who will be there on the 18th of September. I think it's the Cases will be there. Cows will be there, I think. Cows are an amazing duo from Brighton, two girls, really interesting kind of take on electro and R&B. They're really feisty, really funny, and really exciting, I think. And they played at Truck, and then the other winner we had for Truck and Tramlines was this brilliant band called Long Island, who've had an EP out. They've got a new single out as well, so they'll be part of the bill as well. And there may be a fourth or fifth act too, but it's always guaranteed excitement, I think. A really good lineup, really strong artists who've clearly made people stand up and pay attention. So it's worth going down for that reason alone, because even if you don't know anything about them, you should walk away with a new favourite band.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll put the link to those to the show in this episode bio, and obviously the names of all the artists that were playing there. But obviously we're here today. This weekend we've been here really, obviously for This Feelings by the Sea Festival. So what is it about this sort of show that you like to be a part? Because obviously this is the third year, and obviously you've been part of it for every year. So what is it that you're happy to come down and obviously show your support and be part of this magnificent festival?
I really like what This Feeling do. I really like the way they support new bands and encourage them and give them opportunity in various different parts of the country. And when they put this together, they bring it all together. So all the different shows that they've been putting on in various different places, north and south, it's almost as if this is the pick of all those different shows. And some of the people who've ended up headlining, like the K's last year, know people who've been with This Feeling from the very beginning and have kind of climbed the ladder and got to a top, and then now, this year they had their new record number one. So it's really interesting to see that happen. But there's lots of room for all the other bands who are coming through, and that's one of the great things that This Feeling do, and they put on a great showcase of that here for 2 days in Bridlington. So you've got that, and also it's a really interesting place to come to. It's somewhere I wouldn't necessarily go to, and it's a beautiful part of the world, and it's a lovely town, and it's an amazing venue. And so there's so many different reasons to come, and it's exciting always to play music to people and play, combination of old and new, and try and be part of the atmosphere. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And sort of like, then what do you prefer? Sort of more thinking of you as a punter going to gigs. Do you prefer going to festivals, or is it more like the one-off sort of, like the sweaty sort of like club gigs?
I'm more of a this is going to sound terrible. I'm more of a sweaty club man, but I guess that's what I really love, going to see bands in small spaces, and even if there's only 10 people there, but to get that atmosphere and see them up close is really exciting. It's great going to festivals. I think festivals can be amazing because you can see so much in such a short space of time, and that can be fantastic. But I would prefer a small venue. Every time. Sure. Okay, and final question from me. If you weren't a DJ, what do you think you'd be doing? Wow, that's a good question. I don't know. Before I became a DJ, I was working at the BBC and the BBC Gramophone Library, which was a kind of brilliant dead-end job for somebody who liked music and liked records and CDs, because that's all I worked with all day, was buying in the records and CDs to be used by the BBC. Subsequently, in a way, records and CDs are out of date, and it's all done, online and digitally. So that maybe I'd have been made redundant, but because I liked that job, I kind of stuck in it quite a few years. But at the same time, I was DJing and I was starting out in radio. So I don't know. I sometimes wonder about this. I think maybe I used to like driving around. I thought, well, I could always be a taxi driver. I don't like driving as much now, so it's like maybe I wouldn't want to do that job. So I don't know. I'll soldier on with what I'm doing. And hopefully make it last a bit longer.
Perfect. John, thank you so much for coming on and joining me today. And I better let you go because you've got to go back and do some more DJing.
I've got to go and do some more DJing. But I should tell people to listen to Exposure and Exposure Daily on Radio X. So Exposure goes out Friday and Saturday nights from 11 through till 2, and that's where we have sessions, lots of interviews. So, for instance, this weekend, Nova Twins album playback tonight, and last night Chartreuse were in session and had a great interview with Jenny Beth, formerly of Savages. So that's where you get the big chunk of exposure. And now we've got this other thing called Exposure Daily, which is 1 hour a day of the most exciting new music I can get my hands on, Monday to Thursday on Global Player, which is the app that Global, the company that owns Radio X, have developed, and you can get that show there. And I really encourage people to go and have a listen, because one of the things that's great about Exposure Daily, and one of the reasons why I really enjoy doing it, is that it's just 1 hour, just one intense hit, and there's some really exciting things that go into it, and I love it. So I really want people to listen.
Yeah. Well, I second that. It's a great show, and as I say, thanks very much for joining me on the This Is The Music Meets podcast from a wet and windy Bridlington Spa. John, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
From headlining Dingwalls in Camden to DJing in festival fields, acoustic sessions with John Kennedy, and playing with Pete and Carl Faulkner, it's fair to say that 2025 has been a very impressive year for Locking. I'm joined by Benji and Joe. Fellas, thanks very much for joining me on the This Is The Music Meets podcast. How are you both doing?
I'm just buzzing we're doing an in-person interview, Mark, to be honest. It's all been over the old Zoom before, isn't it?
It certainly has. It certainly has. Joe, you good, mate?
Yeah, it's nice to finally meet you in person.
It's definitely it's definitely shinier in person, I'll tell you.
Cheeky sods. A lot I have to put up with you boys. So, is this the first time at Bridlington Spa? And if so, what's your impressions of the place?
Right now, it doesn't look great, but trust me, when we arrived, it was blue skies and rainbows, and there was speedboats going by and pirate ships, and it's great place. The people are lovely. Grateful to be here.
And Joe, obviously you've obviously played your set this afternoon. How was it for you up there? Because from where I was stood, it was very, very good.
It's probably the biggest stage we've played, like an inside venue. So yeah, it's pretty mad, and it's great. It's a great venue. I've actually been to Bridlington before, with my mates who live here. My mate trod in a stonefish in that sea there. So it's a better experience this time. And there's a lot of people there, to be fair, as well. And we were on pretty early, so it's always nice to see people come down and actually watch as well, especially at that time.
Decent.
Yeah, absolutely it was. And obviously 2025, I said, it's been a very good year for you boys so far. Obviously started off with the release of 1111. What was the sort of like inspiration for that track?
Inspiration for that track? Well, it was the first sort of song we started working with in a writing aspect with our producer Max Marlowe. He come to the room and actually wrote it with us. Inspiration-wise, I think it was just the vibe and the energy in the room at that moment. I don't think there was a general idea behind it. As I say, it was the first time writing with him, and yeah, that's just what came out, to be honest with you. And whatever that shows is what we were feeling, I guess.
Yeah. And Joe, obviously you've played everywhere from headline shows to festivals like today. How does a track like 1111 go down with a crowd?
We didn't actually play it today, did we?
I know.
Was he banging on it?
Based all his questions around that.
Do you know what? I didn't think we even thought about playing it today. I think we had such an idea, but we wanted to play a summer festival for the sunny weather, but it didn't turn up.
Well, I think we obviously wanted to. We wanted to make sure we've been writing loads at the minute, and that's like we've just got our heads down like massively over the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks, and Amsterdam's been one of them tunes that we played at Dingwalls. It's probably the first song we wrote this year where we were like, yeah, that's going to be the one that comes out probably first, if not the main one. I don't know, I'm speaking very preemptively here, but we just love playing it. Is the crux of it, and yeah, that was the first song in the set list, and it sounded great on stage. I'm not sure it sounded out the front.
That tune set a precedent to what we're writing at the moment, and like the angle that we're kind of going with and stuff. I mean, we in the past 3 or 4 weeks, we've written like 3 or 4 tunes already that we're super happy with, and getting a bank of work we can take to people and say, here's what we got, sell us to the big boys.
Nah, we're just enjoying writing. That's it.
Yeah, great to hear. And obviously earlier on this year, you played at Dingwalls in Camden, obviously a very, very iconic venue. How did that show go down for you? What was it like being up there on that stage?
It's probably the most piss crowd I've ever played to. It was the same day as the FA Cup final, and I don't have any Palace or City fan mates, so everyone was just in the boozer from whenever it kicked off, 2 o'clock, and we finished sound check and just went to the pub and everyone was already there, so I thought, we'll stick around for 2, but if we stick here all afternoon with them, by the time we get on the stage, we'll be absolutely bladdered. So, yeah, it was great vibes, great venue, and, yeah, just all round brilliant, really.
Yeah, and Joe, obviously earlier on this year, you did a little DJ set at Truck Festival.
It was like a month ago, it wasn't early this year.
Well, all right, earlier on this year, it was a month ago, and, different vibe. What was that like? What was that experience like? Were you as pissed as your friends who come down for the Dingwalls gig?
No, we were fine actually. Do you know what? We were a bit nervous, more nervous than playing to DJ because we'd never done it before.
Speak for yourself, mate. I was comfy up there. I thought, you know what, the crowd.
He didn't do any DJing, that's why.
Crowd. I've got you there.
Our cousin Lawrence taught us how to DJ about 2 weeks before, and then John Kennedy turned up. He was DJing with CDs, which completely threw us off. So we DJed after with a guy called 90s Mike, who's a legend, and he supplied us with loads of tunes. I think he's got how many gigabytes?
Basically, let's just cut to the chase here. 90s basically carried the set. We were there for the vibes. Big up 90s.
I was on a roll there with my story and you completely cut it off.
You can shame bollocks, mate. That's how.
And obviously, you've also done some acoustic shows as well this year. Obviously, the iconic Marquez pub in Covent Garden. Shout out for that place. I'm not sure. We'll go with that vibe.
Tell me,
yeah, I think it's the Marquis.
Marquis. It's the Marquis.
Oh, we've all said something different.
So we've played there. Well, one of us has got to be right? But obviously also as well that on the same day as that, you obviously did a little acoustic set with John Kennedy as well on his show. So how did that feel, doing an acoustic show, to obviously playing with a full band? Well, obviously it was still a full band, but, acoustic guitars and obviously like a completely different vibe.
Absolutely loved it. Loved stripping the songs back. And you feel like the raw side of the songs. And I think if you can play a song acoustically that's meant to be electric and fully blown on the stage, then I think there's an element of knowing that it's an alright song. It was a good day in general, playing, as you say, the Marquee Pub. Tommy's a legend that runs that. And then we managed to get our dad, Trevor, and then Sam's dad, John, in the studio, in the Radio X studio with us, which was a lovely touch, to be fair. So that sort of getting to see the other side of the band was really good.
I don't think Trevor's stopped talking about that moment, has he?
No, he's not. He ain't shut up about it. But luckily, he shut up in the room, though.
Okay, then I've got some sort of like quick fire-ish questions for you now.
Here we go.
What would you say has been the most sort of surreal, like pinch me moment from 2025 for Locking?
Oh, pinch me moment. For me personally, was singing a couple tunes with Pete Doherty and Carl Faulkner after the Soccer Sixes awards ceremony. Just because, I don't know, they're two pretty heroes, I guess. You know what I mean? Like on a personal level. As a group, for me personally, it's just been getting back together, away from any gigs or anything like that, and just like writing. I think we just caught this little wave that we're on right now, and it's, I'm really enjoying it.
And Joe, how about you?
I think, not a cringy one, but I think just like people singing back the tunes this year, and actually, especially the new ones that released, and people getting on them super quickly, and like the
Like
wave.
Against the World, everyone's singing.
I was going to say,
today.
Against the World was like a mad one for us because it really kicked off. And online as well, we got a load of love for it. So it's quite nice to actually. I think how long did we release it before Dingwalls? I can't remember, but it was like
Slightly, wasn't it?
soon. Yeah, it's mad, but it's good. I'm enjoying it.
And headline gigs or being DJs at festivals, where do you feel most comfortable?
Come on, Mark. It's muscle memory, mate.
It's
on that stage.
An exclusive. We're doing a residency in Ibiza.
Yeah.
You heard it here
Pasha.
first.
Pasha.
What year is that?
What year?
Yeah.
This year, mate.
This year, yeah, you sure?
Parties.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Lovely, I'm sure that'll go down very, very well. And if there was one track that Locking play live that sums up what Locking are, what they're about, the sound, the vibe that you have going down, what would you say that track is?
It's a great question. I don't know. It's hard for us because every song is sort of different in a way. We've got a song called In the End that's unreleased. And I wouldn't say it completely matches the personality and the vibe of it, but I think it leads up to where we've got right now. And I think it sort of sums up the journey we've been on. And I think it's a song we wrote at the right time, at the right place, and when it comes out, it'll all make sense.
It says in the end, but it's not the end. FYI for all the fans at home.
It will be,
watching on their
but
sofas.
it's like, but in the end, you know what I mean? Like, when all is said and done. That's it. That's all I need to say, Mark.
Oh, okay, mic drop there for you. And if you could only DJ one song here today at By the Sea Festival to get the party started, what would it be, Joe?
The start, can I say the end one? We did it at Truck 505 by Arctic Monkeys. It was just...
Rock the Casbah for me. That went down.
Nice.
Rock the Casbah is just... It's one of them tunes. Like, I'm really into my dance music. And we tried putting a dance song in the set at Truck and it just didn't go down that well. But we put Rock the Casbah in, which is sort of that groovy, dancey vibe, which I think we relate to in a sense. And everyone was loving it. And it's like, we just played a song that's probably slower tempo, but it's got a few kick drums in there that are a bit more dancey. But you play Rock the Casbah and everyone loves it. So, yeah, probably that for me. Went off.
You can't win. You can't win.
That's it. You can't please all the people all of the time, as they say. Now, obviously, away from the band slightly, obviously, a few weeks back, you appeared on BBC One's Bridge of Lies, which was obviously hosted by Ross Kemp. You won just over £1,000. A bit of a surreal moment. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that. It's too late now.
Episode's been out about 3 months
People
now.
will ask us for drinks then, that's why. No, I'm joking.
That's good crack, to be fair, Joe.
And what was that like? How did the pressure of being on TV, you know, doing a quiz compare to being up on stage in front of, you know, gig goers?
It's completely different. This all stemmed from us just bantering, saying that we'd enter a quiz show on TV, and then somehow we're on TV within the next month. It was great fun, don't get me wrong, but I think we're more comfortable up there, Mark, to be honest. We were just lucky to walk away with a bit of money, to be honest.
Well, I was going to say, because your quizzing skills weren't the greatest, Benji, it has to be said, mate. Joe, I'm guessing that
Let's start this now. Mark, I'm telling you.
Joe, I'm guessing there's been a little bit of stick flying around towards Benji.
Look, my lips are sealed. I don't. You can watch it yourself on BBC iPlayer. It's on your laptop, or if you've got a TV license, watch it. But I did pretty well. That's all I'm going to say.
All I can say is I've watched Oppenheimer now, and I still fucking wouldn't know anyone that's on there.
Brilliant. And you've sort of like alluded to a little bit about music releases that you've got coming out, but obviously you played here today at the Bridlington Spa by the Sea Festival for This Feeling. Yeah, easy for you to say. And so what kind of like then is the next sort of milestone for Locking, looking ahead towards the rest of 2025 and sort of into the early part of next year?
I don't think really. Obviously, we've set goals ourselves of where we want to be, but as we'll always say, it's the road to Brixton. That's the long aim, and I think we'll keep striving towards that. At the minute, we're writing hard. We've, as I said before, thoroughly enjoying it. And we'll carry on doing that. We've got a few little gigs and bits and bobs popping up here and there, but we're planning and preparing. We've been doing this for 4-5 years now, and we just want to hit that next level. So whatever that takes.
Excellent, lads. Thanks very much for joining me on this very special edition of this. This is.
Let him do his outro.
Thank you, Benji, Joe, for joining me on this very special edition of the This Is the Music Meets podcast, coming from a wet and rainy Bridlington Spa.
Big up, This Is the Music. We love you, Mark.
And joining me now on the This Is the Music Meets podcast is Paul Teideman. Paul, thanks very much for joining me on this very special episode of the podcast. For those that don't know, Paul is a serial gig goer up and down the country, festivals, Bournemouth, Southampton, everywhere. So, Paul, obviously we're here at the This Feeling by the Sea Festival here at Bridlington Spa. So what made you come to this festival this weekend?
Good afternoon. Well, we came last year and it was just absolutely fantastic. Every band that we ever listen to or watch are here. The atmosphere, the friends, the bands, it's just absolutely incredible. So on the way home, straight away on Sunday last year, in the car driving back, bought the tickets straight away on the way back. Then by the time you've done the 7-hour drive back home, you think, why have we done that to ourselves again?
For the love of music, though, right?
Totally worth it every time.
Brilliant, great stuff. And obviously this is recording this on day 2 of the festival. So any personal highlights from day 1 yesterday?
Yeah, definitely the Bracknell. Seen them, that might have been the 4th time this year. So really getting into them, really looking forward to seeing them again in November in London, the 229 Club. Yeah, so they've sort of been a band that I really got into over this year. That second album is absolutely incredible, just gets better and better every time you listen to it. Tom A. Smith was brilliant as well. It's just a big celebration like the festival, because all the bands that I've been on, we've seen all over the last couple of years. So it's just a continuation and just a celebration, as I say, just carrying on. It's just brilliant, everyone being together. So every band. Sunbeam were brilliant. That was it. So first time was Cruise and Sunbeam. Yes, I hadn't seen them before, and they were just fantastic. Great sing-alongs, having the whole crowd sitting there sing-along together. Just happy vibes here, atmosphere. Everyone's singing, perfect. You don't get better than that, do you?
No, absolutely. And obviously, this is day 2 of the festival. Some great acts playing today. Anyone in particular that stands out for you?
I'm standing here in my Lock-In t-shirt. So, yes, repping Lock-In today. So, definitely looking forward to seeing them again. 88 Miles, saw them Godney Gathering this summer. Absolutely brilliant. Such brilliant band. Really loving them. And then gets to the Lilacs, and then it gets to Stone. Absolutely love Stone. And this will be the first time seeing them doing an hour and 15 set. So I've seen the support bands and doing their own gigs, but it's been half hour, 45 minutes. So for an hour and 15, it's just going to be absolutely mental down there.
It sure is. And just thinking of those artists there that you just mentioned, if you was allowed to join any of them on stage tonight and maybe, you know, pick up an instrument or maybe do some sort of like dance move, what would you be choosing?
I wouldn't do that to anybody at all. It would just have to be proper Bez from Happy Mondays. I'd just have to be up there giving it the hips.
Well, stay tuned. We'll be trying to record you later on tonight while that's going on.
I'm sure Benji would like me up there with him.
I'm sure he would. Just have to do a little bit of crowd surfing with him later on.
I'll just do a swap, because Benji comes in the crowd. We'll swap. While he's there, I'll just nick his place up front. He'll turn around and go, fuck, where am I? Or I'll just stay down here then. Yeah.
Brilliant. Love that. And sort of outside of the festival, like this weekend, are there any other sort of artists, maybe like some hidden gems that you sort of like you're personally checking out that maybe you think the This Is The Music listeners should listen to?
Everyone knows I'm a big lover and fan of Spangled, and everyone's into that. Everyone loves them. Must have seen 5 Spangled T-shirts here yesterday, and then just had to go up to each one and go, yeah, Spangled, let's get... I don't know, we better not keep swearing.
It's absolutely fine, we're allowed. We are not a family-friendly podcast.
So it was great going up and chanting with other Spangled fans last night. Dead Freights, absolutely love them. They just recorded their debut album, so by the autumn there should be a tour coming out, and looking forward to doing all the promotion and all that. Following them over the country, that'd be absolutely fantastic. I love them. They are incredible. They've been on a few Dead Freights, a few This Feeling shows. That was the first time I saw them, like 2019 in Southampton, at This Feeling show. I just would go down there, didn't know any of the bands, saw Dead Freights for the first time, and then that's it. Been stalking them for 6 years since.
Brilliant, love that.
I've just been in one of their videos as well, so look forward to that coming out.
I knew you were going to drop that in there. Brilliant. Okay, just moving away from sort of bands, maybe current band or, you know, rising artists and that. What was the first gig that you ever went to?
First gig was ridiculous. It was Nebworth.
Wow.
Which is mad. If my first gig was 125,000 people in a field, and now I'll be going to gigs and there'll be like 30, 50 people in a room, and that's the way I prefer it now.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's amazing, pretty impressive first ever gig to do that. But I think these smaller venues where you can see the bands up close, I think are a hell of a lot better than the big gigs. They're great, but a bit silly, aren't they?
They are, and the bands get involved. You're there chatting with them, you're having a drink with them, everyone's socialising together, and it's just a great music community. So Twitter gets all the complaints and people moaning about it, but if it wasn't for that, loads of us wouldn't be friends, we wouldn't be here all sharing and doing the same thing together.
Yeah. No, absolutely, and probably a bit of a difficult one, this one. Who's the best live act that you've ever seen? And it can be either, you know, up and comer or you know, like a more established artist.
It will always be Maximo Park. We'll see all the bands and all our new bands coming up, and we absolutely love it. And then we'll go back and then see Maximo and just walk away, just, yes! That's it, that's the show, that's the frontman. Paul Smith is such a brilliant frontman. Saw him recently down in Exeter and just come away just absolutely buzzing from it again. And you do see some reports sometimes, someone will go see them and go, if new bands want to see how to put on a show, how to perform on stage, just go watch Maximo Park. Yeah, fantastic.
There you go. I think 6 times you're going to see them on this. They've got a new tour coming up, haven't they?
Yeah, my partner Chantel has gone and booked up 6 dates. I think it's Bournemouth, Brixton, Cambridge, Nottingham, Leeds, Newcastle.
I did say in the intro that you do go up and down the country to go and see gigs, and there is the proof right there for you. What do you prefer, vinyl, streaming, or even CDs, or even maybe cassettes? What's your preferred way of listening to music?
Oh, obviously This Is The Music radio show.
Far too kind there. Yeah, you're thinking about the one listener.
Me and Chantel both carry on supporting the bands. We do buy vinyls, we buy the cassettes, we buy the CDs, the different colours, the different variants and all that sort of thing. But we're also that couple that doesn't have a CD player, a cassette player or a record player. So they just pile up and it gets bigger and bigger. One day we will get to listen to them. So everything just does get listened to on Spotify because we don't have anything to listen to them on.
There you go. Well, maybe we'll get a GoFundMe page for a record player for you. So would you rather lose your voice singing along to the show or your shoes in the mosh pit?
Shoes in the mosh pit, definitely.
Brilliant. And
when I normally go to the mosh pit, they might be white, but when they come out, they're black. It's the next day, innit? You look at your trainers on the floor, you go, oh, no.
yeah, I know that feeling far too well. And as a sort of gig memento, would you rather get a set list or the drummer's drumstick?
Set list. And then that can go in the drawer with the other hundreds.
I thought you were going to say that you framed them.
One day, going to get that plastic folder, when you've got nothing better. Need like another lockdown when I've got nothing to do and I can sit and put all the set list in alphabetical order in a folder. No, I've got better things to do. I'm too busy going up and down the trains.
Paul, brilliant. I absolutely love that. Thank you very much for joining me on the This Is The Music Meets podcast here at Bridlington Spa for the This Feeling by the Sea Festival. All the best, mate. Keep going to gigs. Keep supporting it.
Let's get down the front. We've got bands to see.
I'm here at the By the Sea Festival with one of Hull's brightest new talents, Pablo Carrizo. Fresh off the release of his brand new single, Bit of Me, he was handpicked by Jericho Keys to play the acoustic stage here at Bridlington Spa this weekend, and he's also got a sold-out headline show at the Social in September coming up. Pablo's star is definitely on the rise. Pablo, thanks very much for joining me on the This Is The Music Meets podcast. Your new single, Bit of Me, is obviously out now. What does this song mean to you, and how does it differ from your two previous singles that you've put out?
Well, definitely differs from the last one because it was for Love Sea.
Yeah.
So it wasn't one of my songs, but this one, I don't know really. It was one of the first ones I sort of wrote. It's about like these arrogant people you meet out through your life and through out in the town and stuff like that, and it's just about how they act with people, how they act with the girls and everything. Stuff like that. I just wrote it. Yeah.
Yeah, and as I said there in the intro, obviously you've played at the acoustic stage here by the Sea Festival. It was handpicked by Jericho Keys. Just how did it feel when you got that call to say that you're going to be playing here today?
Don't know why he picked me, but he seemed to like it, and it was nice. It was a good confidence boost. It was because I was a bit nervous about releasing the song. I always get nervous about shit like that, and we sent him it, and next thing you know, he picked us to play here. So that's got to mean something at least. So I was happy.
Just sort of continuing with that sort of live music sort of theme, really. Obviously, you've got a headliner at the Social in Hull coming up in September, which you've obviously already sold out, which is amazing. How does it feel, to know that people are buying tickets that far in advance to come and see you play?
Mental. I just can't believe it. Don't know who's buying them, why. They want to see me, but they do, and I'm just grateful for them. Yeah,
sure. So, obviously you performed your debut single, Homecoming, on the pitch before a Hull FC game. Obviously the home of Hull FC, obviously, and the football club rugby league game before that game there. It must have been a surreal moment for you. Oh, yeah. What was that like?
It's hard to put into words. It was like something out of a dream, honestly. Like you go and watch the games and stuff, and you sing that song for all them years, and then you go and record it and play it in front of 20,000 people. I can't explain it now. It was just Best surreal moment of my life.
Yeah.
100%.
And reaction from the crowd, was it good?
Yeah, it was good. Well, most of the crowd. North Stand hated me. Booed me like fuck.
Was that the away end?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were happy with me. But what can you say? Don't matter.
They don't know good music, that's what I'd say.
Exactly, yeah.
So I've got some quick fire questions for you now. So the first one is, first gig that you ever went to?
JLS. KC Stadium.
Yeah.
So a bit of a...
Bit of a-
what's the word?
Bit of a theme.
Yeah. First gig there, and I played there.
Bucket list moments. Okay, who is your biggest musical influence?
God, it's hard to say. I'd say like when I was growing up, it was like Oasis, the Beatles, Green Day, David Bowie, all stuff like that. And then I say now it's more like Jerry Cinnamon, Sam Fender, Wonder Horse, Fontaines. I love all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah, sure. Okay, what would be, other than By the Sea Festival here with This Feeling, what would be your dream festival to play at?
any of them, any that'll take me. Leeds, Glasgow, anything.
Brilliant. Okay, so looking ahead then, obviously you've got your headline show, we said obviously coming up next month. What is next for Pablo Carrizo?
Don't know if I can say, but I've got another headline show coming next year,
Yeah.
which is it's gonna be a bit bigger and a bit grander, more people. So yeah, we've got that to look forward to. And yeah, I've got a few gigs in out of town. We've got Mexborough, I've got Liverpool headlining them. So yeah, it'll be good.
Brilliant, great stuff. Look, Pablo, thanks very much for joining me. Thank you for your time. We're here, obviously, at By the Sea Festival with This Feeling. Make sure that you check out Pablo's new single, Bit of Me, on all streaming platforms, because this kid, trust me, is going to be a superstar. Pablo, thanks again, mate, and all the best.
Cheers for having us.
I'm really, really excited to be joined by this absolute legend now of the Scottish music scene. It's Wayne Watson. Otherwise, some of you may know him actually as Weemus Scenes on his social media handles. Wayne, thanks very much for joining me. How you doing, pal?
Oh, I'm doing great. Great to meet you, finally. After all these years talking on social media, to see you live, you're just as handsome in real life.
I'll slip you a tenner later for that. So obviously you've come down from Scotland for the festival. Obviously you was here yesterday, and obviously this is day 2 today. So yeah, basically what made you come to Bridlington Spa?
The first time we came, the first year this was on, I was doing a bit of repping for This Feeling at the time, and they invited me to come down. So I thought I'll come down with the family, my wife, my daughter, who's 25, and her boyfriend. We loved it. The bands were great. It was a right friendly atmosphere. Get to see all the bands that you've live in one place over 2 days, and just loved it. Loved the atmosphere. Even the place itself is a really nice place for walking about, right by the sea. Great music, and everybody you meet is just after the same thing. Want to meet new bands and hear them. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more there. And I think the atmosphere is great, as you say. So as I said, this is obviously day 2. Day 1, obviously, yesterday. So what artist did you impressed you yesterday on day 1?
Yesterday, I liked Cruise. That's the first time I'd seen them live, and the Bracknell. I was really looking forward to seeing them. We kind of timed it wrong, and we went to see Tommy Smith, but we went away for our fish supper at that time when he come on. And the time we come back, he was finished. So I'm a bit disappointed with that, but it was really good yesterday as well. I'm actually today, the bands I'll obviously Lock-In.
Yeah, love Lock-In.
Looking forward to seeing them. Lilacs, I've seen here before. They're great. I've seen them up in Scotland supporting the Castros. And a guy from my own hometown, PG Charletta, he's playing here today, so it'll be the first time me seeing somebody from my hometown playing at this festival, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I can imagine. Great artists there that you've obviously mentioned. And if you could go, obviously, I know you've done this before because obviously you was in a Castro's video. You've joined them up on stage before as well. Obviously, I should just say for those that don't know, the Castros are a band from Scotland. So if you was given the opportunity tonight to go and join a band on stage, would you play a musical instrument, or would you just be doing some weird dance moves?
It would just be the dance moves. I've no musical talent at all. That's why I just try and put gigs on. That's as close as I'm getting.
And which band would you love to go and join to go and do those dance moves?
Oh, tonight it would probably be Lockin or Lilacs. One of the two of them. They've got the sort of energy I like up on stage.
Yeah.
Jump a bit.
Yeah, sure. And obviously, as you just mentioned, obviously you put on plenty of gigs up in Scotland. You obviously got a very big one coming up in Scotland, obviously on November the 1st at Legends, Panhead Sharps. You got Below Buckers as well. So just tell us, where can people go and get the tickets for that?
If anybody wants a ticket for it, if they follow me on Instagram at Weem Scenes, you'll get tickets around my bio, or any of the bands. You've got Panhead Sharps, Arianas, Below Buckers, or Dirty Bombs. And tickets are selling really, we're nearly sell half the tickets already, which is great going for today's ticket sales.
Absolutely. And what is it for you? Why do you put on gigs? What is it for you that draws you to be doing that?
I just when I first started going back to gigs, I always looked for a friend to go with. I never wanted to go myself, and then I felt I was missing out on some certain gigs. I couldn't find anyone to come with, so then I thought, right, I'm just going to go myself. And every time I go myself, I'll always end up in a group talking to people, and even the bands that are there, when they come off stage at the gigs that we're going to, the bands are coming off stage and standing beside you, talking to you, and you get to meet so much people, so much bands, and it's amazing how much gigs I go to, and I keep bumping into people all over the country that I've maybe seen them in Aberdeen, and the next time I'll see them in Dundee, then Edinburgh, and even like this weekend when I come down here, I've met people that I've met at other gigs, and that's just brilliant. It's a great wee scene to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the rising scene is the one to be in at the minute. And obviously there you've mentioned some of the bands that you've enjoyed seeing over the 2 days here at the festival, and obviously your own gig coming up. But are there any other bands, maybe hidden gems in Scotland that you think we should be, or This Is The Music listeners should be sort of getting on their radar?
There's some really good bands up in Scotland now. You've got Box of Trash, Rampants, Soapbox, Rosie Alice, Dove. There's everywhere you go, there's another band, and even though they're not really your type of music, you can still appreciate what they're doing and enjoy the night. And it's like for me, like the bands I obviously like the most are like the Castros. I just love their sound there, and a great bunch of guys, just nutters.
Brilliant, some great artists there for us to go and check out. Some that I am already personally, thanks to you, well aware of. So thank you for that. But sort of moving away from that, can you maybe remember the first ever gig that you went to?
The first ever gig I went to, I was 16, and I only went. I just started working at Rosyth Dockyards as an apprentice. The guy who I got paired up with, he split up with his girlfriend on the Monday. He had a Madness gig to go to on the Wednesday evening, so he asked if I wanted to go, so I just went, all right, I'll come. And I went Madness at the Playhouse in Edinburgh.
Wow.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. Do you still listen to Madness?
I'll listen to them. I wouldn't have put them on. I wouldn't have switched them off though if they come on.
Brilliant. And I guess it's a really tough question to ask, really, but we'll ask it and we'll see what we come back with. But who is the best live band that you've ever seen?
The best, I always think, for me, the best gigs I've been to, right, are the smaller gigs. I would find it hard to go to a bigger gig where I'm away back. I would have went to Oasis if I got a ticket, I never. But to me, I love being at a gig where you're there. Skylights gigs, when I've been to see Skylights, they're amazing and get you really involved, and I've enjoyed every Skylights gig I've been to.
Yeah, they're a great band. And if you had any personal gig highlights of 2025, who would you say?
It was when I went to see the Castros playing at a festival, and they shouted me up on stage because it was my birthday the next day. So they said, introduced me to everybody, said I was in their video. Then they started singing the song that I'm in the video for the 90s. And I turned to Brad and I says, like, what am I supposed to do now? He says, just start dancing and singing. So that was me. I was up on stage for the whole song. Oh, I loved that. That was me, part of the band.
Happy days and great memories there. And final question from me. If you could have one gig memento, would it be the drummer's drumsticks or a set list signed by the band? What would you rather have?
Probably the drumsticks.
Right, okay. What's that?
I've got a pile of set lists in the house now, and they're just like in a shoebox and just gathering dust. At least if I've got the drumsticks, I'd maybe stick them up on my wall.
Perfect, brilliant. Wayne, thank you very much for joining me. As we said, the gig that you've got put on is November the 1st at Legends. A great lineup. So do go and grab those tickets. As Wayne said, about 50% of those tickets have gone. Wayne, as I say, thanks very much for joining me. Absolute legend. Absolutely.